This is what I would like to call the paradox of the Great Indian Chandelier. Let us assume for a moment that a great chandelier of infinite length is hung from a ceiling of infinite height in the great palace of an Indian Maharaj. The chandelier is, we may say, self-sufficient in that it requires no external support, not even a ceiling to hold it in place, except, obviously, the infinite number of links that make up the infinite chain to which the chandelier is connected. In such a chandelier, each link depends not just on the one link that is immediately above it, but on every link that is immediately above it. That is, break one of the links, and every part of the chain below it, including the chandelier, would fall to the ground. Applying the principle of the excluded middle, which states that every statement is either true or false, we get the following possibilities for the Great Indian Chandelier. 1. There is at least one common link on which all the other links depend on. Or 2. There is no common link on which all the other links depend on to remain in place. Applying the principle again, we get two possibilities within the second. 2.1. None of the links share a common link, or 2.2. Some of the links share a common link, but others do not share this common link. We will consider both these scenarios. Let us take any two random distinct links within the chain that holds up the chandelier and call it A and B. Now, there are two ways these links could be found in the chain. Either A is about B or B is about A. If A is about B, then the link just about A would serve as a common link for both A and B, on which A and B depend on to be held in place. If B is about A, then the link just about B would serve as a common link fulfilling the same role. This means that at least two links share a common link. Therefore, the first scenario, which states that none of the links share a common link, is false. Hence, if 2 is to be true, then the second scenario, according to which some links share a common link but others do not, must be true. Let us call one of the sets of all links that have at least one common link CL on which they all depend on as S. Since we stated about that in a chandelier, the links depend on not just the one link immediately above it, but on all the links above it, all the members of S depend not just on CL, but on every link above CL. Let us call this collection of links above CL, including CL, the common link history of S. If the second scenario is true, there must be a non-empty set S', which contains all the links that do not share any common link with S. Let us say one such element is X. It is noteworthy at this stage of argumentation that there could be several sets of links whose elements, taken as members of this particular set, share a common link. In other words, we can grant, for the sake of argument, that there are, let's say, two sets, S1 and S2, each of which taken as individual sets have a common link. But the members of S1 and S2 taken together and put in a different set S total do not share a common link. In such a scenario, it is only necessary for our paradox that we take any of one such set. That is, we could take S1 as S and the rest of the links as S'. There are two possibilities. 1. X is a member of the common link history of S, or 2. X is below the common link history of S. Notice that X cannot be about the common link history of S. Since the link history of S extends backward infinitely and completely exhausts the chain in the upward direction, these two are the only possibilities. To analogize, if I mark a point A on a line, which can be extended to infinity on the right side, and say all points to the right of A fall under set P, and all points to the left of A fall under set Q, it logically follows that there is no point to the right of all the points that fall under P, because if it were to the right of P, it would be to the right of A, and if it were to the right of A, it would be a part of P, a manifest contradiction. If X is below the common link history of S, X depends on all the links that S depends on. Hence, X is an element of S, since it shares a specific common link history and a common link with all the elements of S. If X is a member of the common link history of S, all the links about X would make up a common link history that both X and S share. But if X and S share a common link history, they also share common links. Hence, in all possibilities, it is necessary that X share a common link with S and therefore be a member of S. But that would mean X is impossible, since we assumed that X was not a member of S. From this we conclude that S' is empty. But if S' is empty, the second scenario, namely that some links share a common link but not others, is false. Therefore, all the links in the chain have at least one common link on which they all depend on, which we can call the great common link. So far so good, you may respond. What is so impossible about having such a common link? Where is the paradox? The paradox arises when we consider which specific link of the infinite chain that makes up our great Indian chandelier can satisfy the condition necessary to be the great common link. Why? Well, consider any such link in an infinitely long chandelier. It serves as a common link on which the others depend on only for those below it and not the ones above it. That is, it cannot, even in principle, serve as the great common link for all of them. But this means that a self-sufficient great Indian chandelier is impossible. Now, with the faint memory of what was written in the video title, you might ask, well, what does all of this have to do with the impossibility of an infinite causal series? Your doubt would be certainly just, and to answer it, I will have to explain a distinction that exists between a per se causal series and a per accidens causal series. A per accidens causal series is what first comes to mind when discussing causes. Consider the classic example of Abraham begetting Isaac and Isaac begetting Jacob. In this example, it is not vital to the causation taking place that the person is a son of this man. That is, it is not necessary for Isaac to be caused by Abraham while he is bringing Jacob into existence. Abraham is only required for the coming to be of Isaac, after which, even if Abraham does go out of existence, Isaac's ability to cause Jacob into existence is not impaired. Now, such causal series, Aquinas says, can extend in principle backwards into infinity. But in this video, we are not concerned with such a causal series. We are rather concerned with a per se causal series. So what is the speciality of a per se causal series? Consider a chandelier, which you must be very familiar with at this point in the video. The walls hold up the ceiling, which holds up the chain, which in turn holds up the chandelier. In such a type of causation, each secondary cause, that is, the cause that is both an effect of a prior cause and the cause of a posterior effect, depends on the prior cause in the very act of causing as well. Taking the example of the chandelier, the ceiling would fall down if there were no walls to hold it up. The chain would fall down if there was no ceiling, or again if there were no walls either, because the ceiling needs to stay up to hold the chain, so that if the walls are destroyed, the ceiling cannot hold up the chain. Similarly, the chandelier depends on not just the chain, but the ceiling and the walls as well. Now it becomes evidently clear why the paradox at hand disproves the possibility of an infinite per se causal series which consists of only secondary causes. If you replace every instance of link with secondary cause, link history with causal history, you'll find that not just an infinite chandelier, but also all self-sufficient infinite per se causal series are impossible. We could argue in a similar verve that a common cause must exist for all the members of such a series, but that no such member of such a series can serve as a common cause for all of them. The conclusion is unavoidable.